Okay, features of OOP. There are various features in that. First is class, object, method and message passing, inheritance, polymorphism, containership, delegation, reusability, data abstraction and encapsulation. Okay, now we see first is class. Class, actually there are various data types we have gone through, that is string, number, in number also we have seen float, okay, integer, complex. There are various class, tuple, dictionary, list. Like that, class is also one user defined data type. It is used to describe different occurrences, things, and in short, class is the blueprint that describes structure and behavior of the object of similar properties. That means suppose class is suppose collection of suppose class is student, then student, suppose example is class, example of class is student. So student have suppose name, roll number, okay, and class is collection of these data members, that is name and roll number, data members, and function, suppose we used here display function. And class is wrapping up of data members and functions inside a box. There is example of encapsulation also. Okay, and one very interesting thing is that no memory is allocated when class is created, but memory is allocated only when the object is created. Okay, and objects with similar properties and methods are grouped together to form a class. That means suppose class is student, then collection of 60 students, okay, and all the students are of similar, having the similar properties. Next feature is object. Object is runtime entity of the class, or we can say object is instance of the class. One class can have multiple objects. Suppose class is student, then it class student can have multiple objects like student 1, student 2, student 3, student 1000, student 100. Class can have multiple objects. Next is method and message passing. In method is what? Method is a function or operation that object can execute when received a message. And message passing means what? One class can have multiple objects and they can communicate with each other by sending and receiving messages. It is just like a request and response. Request for particular operation and response by giving message passing. Okay, what type of methods can be used? Suppose example is vehicle, the method can be start, stop. Suppose example is person, then method can be walk, talk, eat, sleep. These are the we can say examples of the methods. Okay. Next is inheritance. Inheritance is creating new class from the existing class is called inheritance. New class is example we can say child and parent. Okay, child can be created from the parent. So child class we can say new class or derived class from which? From the base class, and base class is parent. Okay, and properties of the parents are accessible to the child class. So what type of relationship is between child and parent is a relationship. Okay, is a relationship. Example, if I give base class is suppose vehicle, suppose parent class is vehicle, then child class or derived class will be car or two-wheeler. Car and two-wheeler can have the similar properties of the can access the properties of the parents, that is vehicles. Example is it can have gear, it can have wheel, it can have some properties of vehicles. Next is polymorphism. It is the most useful feature of object oriented programming. Poly means many and morph means feature. That means the same name and having multiple forms. That is, it enables the programmers to different uses in different context. For example, suppose a function name is draw. Okay, then it can draw is one name, same name of the function. It can draw circle, it can draw triangle, it can draw rectangle. Okay, that is called polymorphism. And there are two types of polymorphisms. One is compile time polymorphism and another is dynamic time polymorphism. Function overloading and operator overloading is the example of compile time polymorphism. We can say static polymorphism. Operator overloading means, suppose plus operator can plus operator is used for the additions. For example, 2 plus 3 equal to 5. But if that same operator we use to concatenate string A and string B, if we concatenate it becomes AB. That means operator overloading. And function overloading, as I already stated, that draw function, we can draw circle, we can draw rectangle, and we can draw any type of shape. It is the example of compile time polymorphism. It is also called as static polymorphism. In suppose in MCQ question can be asked, compile time polymorphism is also called as what? Then you should answer as static polymorphism. Okay. And next type of polymorphism is dynamic polymorphism. In dynamic polymorphism, virtual function is used. Next feature of the object oriented programming is containership. Containership is also called as composition. Okay. In inheritance, we have seen the relationship is a child is a parent. Okay, that is like that containership, there is relation is has a. Okay, it is the ability of class to contain the objects of one or more classes as member data. Suppose there is class A. Okay, and class A can contain the objects of class B. Then class A is called container class and class B is called contained class. Okay, this is about containership. Next is delegation. Delegation means certain operations of one object are automatically applied to other. That means dependency, or some of the tasks are given, or we can say outsourced to another object. That is called delegation. Next is reusability. We have already covered this point. Reusability. Usability means use, and means again and again. That means existing code or existing function or existing module can be used again and again instead of writing it again. Okay, that is called reusability. Example is inheritance. So parent properties are already accessed by child properties, inheritance. Next point is data abstraction and encapsulation. Data abstraction means only essential details shown to the user and implementation details are hidden from the user. As example is ATM. When we go to ATM and we insert our card, it instructs us to put our PIN. Okay, we see only that GUI and that instructions, but we don't know what are the background details. Okay, that is called data abstraction. It shows us only essential details, not all the details or implementation details. Next is encapsulation. Capsule means what? Wrapping up of data. Capsulation means it has some wrapping, it has some type of wrapper. So encapsulation means data and functions are wrapping up into a single entity, that is called class. It is used for security purpose. MCQs that we will see later. Now we move towards practical session. As we know what is meant by class. Class is what? Class is user defined data type, or it is a blueprint where data members and function can be put together. Okay, now what is the what we can say, what is the style of writing class? How to write a class? It is class, use keyword class, use keyword class. Then you can write any example. Suppose example is employee, class employee. Employee has ID. Okay, ID is suppose 101. Employee can have name, any name you can take here. Suppose Akanksha. And salary, you can take any number. Okay, that means class is defined by using a keyword class, then name of the class. You can take any name at it is user defined. Don't forget to write colon here. Once you put the colon and you enter the enter button, you will go automatically here. That is called indentation. Employee, suppose having data members as ID, name, salary. You can take any example. You can take student example. Student has roll number, name and marks. Okay, this is called class. This is called defining a class. Now we see what is object, or how to write a object. Object is what? Runtime entity of the class, or it is instance of the class. Suppose the same class employee, we will see same example. Employee, employee has ID, name and salary. Now class is defined. Now we want to access the data members. We can access it by using object. Now how to create an object? Just write down the object name. Suppose my object name is E1. E1 means employee 1. Object name equal to class name. What is the name of the class? Employee. Okay. Okay. Now I want to print the values of that ID, name and salary. How to print or how to access? We can access that data members by using objects. Object is E1. So we can write here E1 dot ID, E1 dot name, E1 dot salary. Okay. And when we run, we will get E1 dot ID. ID is 101, name is Akanksha and salary is this much. Okay. So we learned two things. First is how to define a class by using keyword class and name of the class. How to write a object. Object can be written by taking object name equal to class name. Define and object. Okay, defining a object. We can see one more example as student. So class student, suppose ID is 21, name is Priyanka, marks suppose 88. I already told you that one class can have multiple objects. Here we have created two objects, S1 and S2, that means student 1, student 2. So object name equal to class name, object name equal to class name, and if we want to access, we can write s1.id, s1.name, s1.marks. This is for s1 object name, and for s2 object we can write s2.id, s2.name, s2.marks. We will get 21 Priyanka 88, 21 Priyanka 88. This is about class and object. Okay, class is blueprint and object is runtime entity or instance of the class. Okay, now we see here, we have gone through the simple example. We have added here only data members, but class is what? Class is collection of data members and functions. We will take now example class with function. Okay, class with function. Suppose name of the class is student, data members are id, name, marks. We add here function. How to write a function in Python? By using def keyword, name of the function, and by default first parameter of any function in Python is inside a class is self. This is called self object, or we can say self parameter. Self parameter is used to access the variable that belong to the class. Suppose in this method I want to access id, name and marks. Okay, these are the variables. That variables are inside a class, and if you want to access, you can use here self object, self parameter. And how to print it? Self.id, self.marks, self.name. After writing the class, define object s1, s1 equal to object name equal to class name. Okay, now I want to access this display method. Method also or any function can be accessed by using object only. So s1 dot display, s1 dot display. So write here print s1 dot id, s1 dot name, s1 dot marks. It will print double. Why? Because when we call this method, in method also already given to print this, and we are again printing it. We will see one more example. We will see one more example of class. Suppose how to define a class by using keyword class employee. An easy example, id is suppose 111 and name equal to Jay. Okay, class is data members and a function. How to write a function? By using keyword def, name of the function. Suppose name of the function is display, and first compulsory parameter of any function inside a class is a self. Self parameter is used to access the variables of the class, access the variables inside a class. We write here print self.id, self.name. Now we have completed this class with data members, 2 data members and 1 method. Now we will see object. Object is suppose employee 1 equal to object name equal to object name equal to class name. Okay, and I want to call this method, call this function, how to call a function, we cannot simply write display, we have to write it emp1 dot display. emp1 is object name dot display. What's the problem? Name is not defined. Okay. Okay, here it's the problem, self dot name. Okay, so ID is 111 and name is Jay. Okay, what is class, how to define a class, how to define an object, how to define a class with data members and functions. Now there are some terms like class variables, object variables. Okay, now we will see what is the difference between class variables and object variables. Class variable means, as the name itself suggests, class variables, that means variables at class level, it's called class variable. Okay, and that class variables are shared by all the instances of the class. Everyone can access that class variables. Next is object variable. Object variables are defined inside the method, and changes made to one object will not reflect for the other object. We will see one example. Suppose class student. Okay, class student, in that suppose we have written one variable subject equal to PPS, then that variable is called as class variable. Why class variable? Because that variable is inside the class. Okay, now we have init method. Actually we have not covered it, but I will tell you later. Suppose one more method is init method, and init method is written as def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self id marks name. Suppose we have 3 parameters, but compulsory parameter, first parameter is self dot id is id, self dot marks equal to marks, and self dot name equal to name. Okay, after writing this class we will have object of that class, that is suppose s1 student1, object name equal to class name. How many parameters need to pass here? 3 parameters. One is id, next is marks, and third is name. Okay, and print, how to print? S1 by using object s1 dot id, s1 dot marks, s1 dot name. These are all the object variables. They are associated with self dot id, self dot marks, self dot name. These are object variables. And class variables means simple plain variable inside a class. These are inside a function. Print s1 dot subject. When we run, we will have output as id as 21, marks as 98, name as Vibha, and s1 subject is given PPS. Okay, this is about self object. This is about class variable and object variable. Okay, next and most important method is init method. Actually init method is called as constructor. In C++ and Java there is a concept of constructor. It is used to construct the memory or initialize the memory, whereas in Python we used init method. Init method is used as constructor. This method is automatically executed when an object of a class is created to initialize the variables of the class object. Okay, that means this method is automatically executed when object of class is created. Wherever object is created, init method is used to initialize, to construct, to make available the memory resources. This method can be represented by using double underscore as a prefix and suffix. That means it is declared as, I will write here, def, that any method or any function in Python is written by using keyword def, def underscore underscore init underscore underscore parenthesis, first compulsory parameter is self and then remaining arguments. These are the optional, whatever as per the requirement we can consider. Okay. We will see one example for init method. First we will try to understand the given example, then we will write one more example. Example for init method is, suppose class student. How to write a class? By using keyword class, name of the class. Okay, in that we have used here init method. How to write a method, how to write a function? By using def keyword, name of the function. Name of the function is underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and in parenthesis self and optional arguments. Optional arguments are id, marks and name. Next compulsory step is self dot id equal to id, self dot marks equal to marks, self dot name equal to name. After writing this class, we will initiate or we will write object. Object name is s1, object name equal to class name, and 3 parameters 2198 Vibha. Print s1 dot id, s1 dot marks, s1 dot name. We cannot directly write id, name, marks, because we can access that variables by using this object. So s1 dot id, s1 dot marks, s1 dot name. We will see next example of init method. Init method example. Suppose consider a class car. Okay, example of class is car, and in that we will use init method. Okay, how to write init method? By using def keyword. Any method, any function in Python can be written by using the keyword def. Underscore underscore init underscore underscore parenthesis, first and compulsory parameter is self. Okay, next we will see any other parameter, suppose model, next color, next suppose company. These are the parameters we want to add. Next step is self. So self dot model equal to model, self dot color equal to color, self dot company equal to company. So self dot model equal to model, self dot color equal to color, and self dot company equal to company. Okay, after writing the class is class car, we used here init method. How to write a method? By using def keyword underscore underscore init underscore underscore, first compulsory parameter is self. Then we have considered here 3 more parameters as model, color and company. Self dot model equal to model, self dot color equal to color, self dot company equal to company. Now we will create object of the class car. Okay, suppose object of the car class is Maruti Suzuki. one class can have multiple object. You can write any object name, any class name, because they are all user defined. Maruti Suzuki is object name equal to class name. How many parameters need to pass here? 3 parameters: model, color and company. Suppose model is Ertiga. Okay, Ertiga is model. Color is suppose black, and company is Suzuki. Company is Suzuki. Okay, we have created class, we have added init method inside, we also have created object. Now I want to print all the values of the model, color and company. So we will use here print. How to access the variables? By using object. Object is Maruti Suzuki. So every time we need to write Maruti underscore Suzuki dot. We use here dot operator. Dot model. Maruti Suzuki dot what? Color. Maruti Suzuki dot company. Why every time we used here Maruti Suzuki? Because Maruti Suzuki is name of the object. By using the object we can access the variables of the class. Okay, and when we run it, hopefully it will run. Okay, it answer is Ertiga, black and Suzuki. Okay, this is called init method. Init method is nothing but constructor in Python. It is init method is automatically executed whenever object of class is created. It is written or it is declared as underscore underscore init underscore underscore parenthesis, and first and important compulsory parameter is self parameter. Okay, next concept is private, public and protected data members. Private, public and protected. First we will see public. The name has its meaning. Public means publicly available. That means public variables are the variables defined inside the class and can be accessed anywhere in the program using dot operator. Okay, they are publicly available. We have to use dot operator and we can access from anywhere in the program. Private means what? There is some restriction. Okay, private variables are the variables defined inside the class. They can define with double underscore. But means suppose a student is a class and id is variable, so we have to write underscore underscore id. Okay, it is defined inside the class and represented by using double underscore, and it cannot be accessed anywhere in the program but only within the class. Only in the class it can be accessed. Next, protected variable. Protected variables are the variables that are defined inside the class by using single underscore. Private variables are defined using double underscore, and protected variables cannot be accessed within the class, can be accessed within the class, and inside the subclass. Suppose class, there is one class and any other subclass that is derived from that class, then protected variable can be used in that class and that subclass only. For example, inheritance. Okay, that variable can be used in parent class and child class only. Okay, now we see the example: public data member, private and protected data member. The same simple example, class employee. You can take any example. Just remember that public variable can be used from anywhere in the program. Suppose class employee ID is 101, name is Akshay, data members, and we also have one method display. Any method inside a class has compulsory parameter self. Print example of public method. Okay, after writing a class, take one object emp object name equal to class name. Also call this function display by using object name emp.display. Print emp.id emp.name. It will print both the id and name. Why? Because they are public data members. Only id, only name, only display is written. Nowhere underscore is displayed. Okay, we can see, suppose any example we can have. Just let it be. Now we will see private data members. Same example written as private data members. Only the difference is that name of the class is employee by using keyword class. Used here underscore. Double underscore indicate this is private data member. You can write underscore display. That means these data members id and name are private. Also this method is also private, and when you want to run this, it will show error. Why? Because id and name has no attribute display. Error will come as these are the private data members. Okay, same example for protected. Here instead of double underscore, write single underscore. If you don't write simple id, name and display, that is public data member. If you write double underscore before the variable name or function name, it becomes private data members. And if you write single underscore, then it becomes protected data members. And if you run this, it will show error. Why? Because it will not go to display method, as display method is protected method. Okay, difference public, private and protected is publicly available. That means it can be accessed. Variables inside a class can be accessed throughout the program. That is public data member. Private data members means they are accessed only that class only, and they are defined by using double underscore. Okay, and protected means they can be accessed inside the class and the subclass, and defined by using single underscore. Okay, next method is del method. As we see init method, init means initialize, construct the memory. Same del method, del means delete. Del method is opposite to init method. Init method is called constructor, So del method can be called as deconstructed, and it is automatically called when object is going out of the scope. Okay, any doubt? No. When you go through this video, please solve MCQs. There are 4-5 MCQs given. Okay, 4 MCQs are given, and write the answers. Try to give the answers of this MCQ. Okay, thank you so much.